is up, guys and girls? My name is Mark, and I am a fourth-year Bible college student studying at Master's College and Seminary. Over the next 12 weeks, I will be joining you guys as a staff member of Lake Point Church, gaining youth ministry experience. A little bit about myself. I'm close by. I'm from Windsor, Ontario. My main two hobbies are really gaming and working out. I'm really excited to be able to see you all, hopefully really soon in person, and see you even sooner at the live event coming up. And next Friday, I will be having the special honor of wrecking all of you at our game night with Ezekiel next Friday after Youth Online. We'll see you there. Bring your game.
Owen.
Hello.
Okay.
I don't know where to do this.
Okay, so do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I will start, I guess. No, actually, no, you
Hey guys, welcome back. We're doing another cooking segment. It's gonna be crazy. Owen, let them know what we're doing.
We're making peanut butter and jam sandwiches with raw toast. Wait, no, we're not. Yeah, no, we are gonna toast it. Okay.
We're gonna toast it.
So
Okay.
first off, what you're gonna want is a plate.
Okay, I can't afford a plate.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Next,
I got this.
we need 2 pieces of raw toast. Then you're gonna toast. You're gonna toast the raw toast.
We're gonna toast
You
it?
follow me? Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't like I like my toast raw.
Okay, you're not gonna toast it?
No.
I'm gonna toast it for these fine people.
Okay. So
Yep,
should I just?
looking good. Yeah.
Do I go to the next step?
Okay, it's almost there, Owen.
Okay.
Toasting it. Yep. There's some good fire here. It's smoking now.
Oh, okay. So next up you need your jam. So you're gonna see the lid on the top, right? Yeah. Expiration date.
Owen, I'm still toasting it, Owen.
You're still toasting?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
See, fire's going good. It's been toasted. Okay, now what do we need?
Oh, okay.
Jelly.
Yeah, jam or jelly. You're gonna twist it this way. I don't know which way. That's counterclockwise, okay? Gonna twist it open.
I don't have any Jello, but I have pudding. I'll try that.
Okay. Then you're gonna get your non-sharp knife.
The non-sharp knife.
Yeah, the non-sharp knife. You're gonna reach in, get the jam or jelly, whichever one you have. Alright? Then you're just gonna like spread it on your jam. I mean your toast, not your jam. I mean, yeah. And you're gonna go like this. Yep.
Yeah. Sorry guys, I ran out of Jello. We need some pudding. You can see,
Right.
vanilla, looking good.
Are you ready?
Yeah. What's next?
So, next step, you're gonna hang on. Next step, you're gonna need this.
Peanut butter?
Yeah. So you're gonna open it counterclockwise again, right?
Okay, I got the butter. I'm just gonna get the peanuts. Okay. Got the peanuts and the butter.
It's all jam. So, you're gonna scoop right in there.
Let's see.
Got your peanut butter.
Got everything.
Yup.
Gonna get the butter and the peanuts out.
and then you just like, you don't know how to spread, Google it, because I'm not explaining.
You're not gonna explain to me how to spread it? Okay, we got the peanuts.
Yeah,
Now we should get the butter. See? We got the butter and the peanuts. Now we just spread it around.
Yes, I can't find it.
I can't find the peanuts or the butter.
I was looking for something to drink. Alright, so next, you get your toast. And you're just
One
like,
sec. Need to get my other toast. How could I forget that? Forgot the other toast. I'm just gonna smush it together and then we're gonna eat these. And it's good.
oh, there.
Yeah, see? Okay, guys, now we're gonna eat these and we'll rate them out of 10. Okay, Owen, are you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Amazing. You know, I see what people like peanut butter sandwiches.
Delicious.
The butter actually makes the peanuts taste better.
Really?
That's why it's called peanut butter.
I need some water.
Scene. That was disgusting.
Hey everyone, we are so excited to be online with you today. Thank you so much for tuning in and participating with us. My name is Ethan, I'm the youth pastor here at Lake Point Youth, and you might be noticing that things look a little bit different from last week, and that's because of Ontario's recent stay-at-home order that came into effect yesterday. Now, you might be thinking, wait, the only reason I'm watching today is to see Nicholas and Owen do something crazy again. I mean, last week they drank juice through their masks. What in the world are they going to do this week? But don't worry, as you've already experienced with their peanut butter and jam sandwiches, they've been working hard on some epic segments for you tonight. So, what will tonight look like? Well, I'm glad you asked. Tonight, we are going to have a spelling bee. We are going to be instructed on how to properly make a bed, and we are also going to experience firsthand a serial killer. So, it's going to be pretty wild, I'll tell you that. Now, while all of this is happening, we need you jumping in the live chat. That is the very best way to make tonight as amazing as ever. It's going to be you commenting in the chat with your pals and leaders that's going to make it amazing. Now, last week, Nicholas said that whenever we make a mistake, you have to roast us in the comments. Maybe you still want to do that again, or maybe you just want to be nice and tell us about the weather at your house. But let us know, how online learning is going. Tell us about your favorite lockdown snacks. Tell us how many times you've walked into a store and completely forgot to put a mask on and wondered why everyone was staring at you like you were a wild animal that had broken out of its cage. We said this last week as we kicked off Youth Online, that it's going to be pretty awesome in terms of content. But where the real action happens is when you are living in the chat. That's where the excitement is. So make sure you're living in the chat for the entire night. It's going to be crazy. But the only way to make tonight the craziest night and the best that it can be is if you're in the live chat. All right. Let me tell you something really, really exciting. Some exciting news before we throw it back to Nicholas and Owen in their next segment. We have another leader joining our Lake Point Youth team. You met him earlier. His name is Mark, and he's doing a 12-week internship with us here at the church. He's in his last year of Bible college, and he's putting everything he's learned over the last 4 years to the test while he gains practical ministry experience. And so Mark, he's going to be lighting it up in the chat tonight, so make sure you connect with him. But also, Mark and our good friend Ezekiel, they are going to be running an online games night starting next Friday after youth ends. So here's what we need you to do. In the comments, there is a link, and everyone that's interested in destroying Mark and Ezekiel next Friday, we need you to open that link right now so we can know what platforms you use for gaming and a list of games that you play that have multiplayer functions. So hit up the link in the live comments right now, fill that out for us, and then over this next week, Mark and Zeke, they're gonna put together a platform and a game that the majority of us can enjoy. As Mark said, he thinks he's gonna wreck all of you, but let's be honest, he probably only plays online 8-ball with random people, and you guys are the ones that are going to be destroying him and Zeke. All right, we are actually gonna play a game, and this game is called The First Person to Comment the Answer in the Chat is the Winner. We played it last week and learned that Nicholas has 2 dogs, and their fur is the color of beige rainbow. We also learned that Nicholas is failing French class, even though he doesn't know his marks yet. So, how does the game work? Well, just as the game title suggests, we are gonna ask you a question. We're actually gonna ask you 2 questions, and the first people to answer those questions correctly are going to be our winners. In a moment, we have a segment coming up again with Nicholas and Owen, and they are gonna show us how to correctly spell words. And during that segment, you can answer the questions, and at the end of the segment, we are gonna declare our winners. So, we've got a few minutes to answer the questions. Well, what are the questions? Question number 1. My family, growing up, we used to have hamsters, but they all died. What was the cause of death? Question number 2. One of our adult leaders has magical jumping powers. Which one is it? All right, there you go. Those are your 2 questions. Answer those questions in the chat. The first people to get them right or even remotely close will be our winners. But in the meantime, check out this next segment.
Hey guys, welcome back to Spelling Bee with Lake Point Youth. Today here we have a contestant, Joctavius Octavius. What's your name again?
Jaquavius, Jaquavius.
Jaquavius Octavius. We cannot put that on the screen because I can't spell it. And here we have the first word, Jaquavius Octavius. Are you ready? Toronto.
I am ready.
The first word is Toronto.
What is the language of origin? Can you tell me the language of origin?
Canada. It's Canadian language. Okay. Would you like it used in a sentence?
I gotta.
Would you like it used in a sentence? Would you like it used in a sentence?
Yes.
Your word is
yes.
Toronto. Okay. That is your word.
Okay, I think I got it.
So Toronto. Spell it out. Show me.
Hang on, here we go.
Toronto. That's. Wait, is that correct? Judges. That is not correct. There's only O's. There's no U's. Next question.
No U. Hang on, I can't find the cap of my marker.
Are you here?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, Jaquavius, Octavius. Your next word is rock.
Rock.
Rock. Rock.
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Rock might have a Q-U-E at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that is your... It sounds like it, so it must be it, right?
Yeah, that's what I would think. Okay. Can you read that?
Rock. That is judges say it's correct.
Oh,
The
yeah.
judges are also blind, so. Next
All
word.
right.
Lake Point. Youth.
Lake Point Youth. Isn't
All one
that
word,
word? All one word?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll try to read it. Youth. Okay, I think I got the answer.
Okay. Go it. Lac Pointe Youthy?
Yeah.
Judges, let's see. Is Lace Poutine Yacht? Is that the answer? It is not. Sorry, Owen, you don't win the prize of 4 cents on eBay. But
Oh, that's
till next time. We are Spelling Bee guys with Lace Point Yacht. Scene.
All right, well, that was interesting. I'm not going to say who, but someone needs to relearn how to correctly spell words. Anyway, let's see who won our game called The First Person to Comment in the Chat. Wait, the first person to comment the answer in the chat is the winner. Yeah, that's the game title. Okay, question number 1 was, my family used to have hamsters growing up, but they all died. What was the cause of death? Well, it's kind of a sad, horrifying, kind of cruel story. So if you're sensitive to these types of things, maybe just mute your device for a little bit. So, growing up, my family had a couple hamsters that my grandma gave us. And my brothers and I were fairly young at the time, and we played pretty aggressive, as most boys do. We had this plastic miniature jungle gym kind of thing, and we thought it would be fun to put our hamsters down the slide. And it was really cute, and I think the hamsters had a lot of fun. I think they loved it. We definitely loved it. But what we didn't know was that little animals, like a hamster, have little hearts. And when they get super stressed or super excited, their heart, like the heartbeat, just like pumps like crazy. And it's like if you are at home and you ran up and down the stairs 100 times, your heart would be pumping pretty hard. Well, this happens to little hamsters, and it actually causes their heart to go into overdrive, and it eventually works so hard that it stops beating. And so all of our hamsters died because we got them too worked up and too excited from playing in our miniature jungle gym. So, I don't know if anyone guessed that, but if you did, congrats, you're a genius. I don't know how you knew that. Question number 2. One of our adult leaders has magical jumping powers. Which leader is it? Well, this is a bit of a tough question. If I didn't know the answer, I would probably guess Ben, because Ben just seems to be able to do crazy things. And I think maybe it's just because of the long hair. But it's not Ben. Sorry guys, Ben doesn't have magical jumping powers. But who does? Well, let me quickly show you. If you guessed the one and only Will Hayden, you are correct. Will has magical jumping powers, as we saw firsthand in that video. So, congrats to our winners. You guys are all amazing. Thanks for playing that game with us. The game of the first person to comment in the answer in the chat is the winner. Thanks for playing with us. Now, before we get into another segment with Owen and Nicholas, I want to quickly tell you what's happening with your Connect group during the new lockdown orders. This past week, your Connect group would have connected with you and let you know that all of our groups have now moved online to Zoom. So every week, your leader is going to send you or your parents a Zoom link, and you'll be able to hop on and have some amazing chats with your group and your leader. You'll be able to connect with friends. Now, here's the really awkward thing. We invited, in total, 71 of you to join your group and leader online this week. And from what I heard, there was only like 5 students in total that showed up. And that's not like 5 students per group. That's 5 out of 71 students. That's crazy. So I know that meeting online with Zoom isn't great and that we value meeting in person. But here's the thing, here's the tension. If we aren't engaging in online connect groups, then we become disconnected from our Lake Point friends and we become isolated and lonely. And many of you, we've talked about this together, you're experiencing a deeper level of anxiety and depression. And your mental health is taking a beating because of the reality of what's going on in the world. So this week, please make an effort to join your Connect group online. We call them Connect groups for a reason, so that you can relationally connect with friends and a mentor during one of the loneliest and most disconnected time we've ever experienced. So be on the lookout this week for a Zoom link from your leader. I promise you it will be worth your time to join. All right, let's switch gears. Like I said, we're gonna move into a special segment from Nicholas and Owen, and it's called How to Make a Bed. Check it out.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you get to start this one off.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and kids of all ages. Today, we will be making Nicholas's bed.
It's not my bed, it's my brother's, but okay.
Yeah. So,
How do we start?
first, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to walk into the room with the bed in it.
Okay. I walked in.
All right.
You can see
Next up, you're gonna want to analyze the area. You're gonna want to look. Yep.
there is a
you're
water
gonna-
bottle. Water bottle is gone. There are some AirPods that are plugged in. We're gonna leave them there.
So, you're gonna want to grab the blanket at the
Which
short
one?
end. The one that's off the bed.
They're both off the bed. There's one that goes under and one that goes over.
Pick the one that goes under first.
Okay. As you can see, it's all here. And it's gonna go under his body. So should I lay it out on the bed?
Yep, you're gonna want to lay it down.
Okay. This is sideways.
That's good. That's good, Nicholas.
Okay.
Good job.
1 second. You gotta get it perfect like a beach towel.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, Owen. Now that we have that there.
So now you're gonna want to get the what's it called? The
Pillows?
over blanket. The other blanket,
The over?
right? The over blanket.
Over blanket.
You're gonna want to find the short end, and then you're just gonna like slap it on the bed.
The short end? Slap it on the bed?
Yep.
Slap. Short end right there.
Good job. Now you're gonna go to the other side,
Uh-huh.
and then you're
Where that?
you're gonna grab the middle, like the
Middle?
middle of the end. No.
Here. Middle
yeah,
of this
and
end?
then- Yeah, and then you just like whip it to the end of the bed.
Boom.
See?
Whipped. Wait, yeah. We did it.
Like that song. That
Just
annoying
whip
song.
it. Okay. Now, Owen, do I use pillows?
You do not. You sleep without pillows. Those are optional.
I'm gonna take that option in.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we gotta set them up good in the middle. We use the double-decker pillow at the bottom. This one for the neck. This one for the feet. It's all gonna be there. Then we put the water bottle back. And this bed is done been made. This was House Chores with Nicholas and say your name.
Yes. That's me.
Equavion Serious. It works. Fits perfectly. And scene.
Well, there you have it. An incredibly clear and precise way to make your bed. Let us know in the chat if you thought that instructional video was helpful. All right, well, we are going to move into our teaching series. We're going to move into the teaching portion of Youth Online. We are in a 4-week series that we introduced last week called Vibes. And we're going to be talking about some moods and some emotions and all the feels that comes with dealing with, well, everything and everyone in our lives. I mean, after we've gone through the year that we've just gone through, and as we walk into a new year where it doesn't really seem to be getting any better, especially, we're in this lockdown. But I think it's safe to say we've got some strong feelings about it. And while there's nothing wrong with feeling all the feels, the problem comes when we let these passing vibes become the motivators of our moods and our actions. And so that's why in this series, we're going to have a conversation and do a deep dive into some of the feelings we all feel. Things like fear and anger and guilt. And we're going to talk about the way they inspire our actions. And my hope and my prayer is that we can figure out what we can do to control our vibes instead of letting them control us. So today in week 2 of our series, we're going to be talking about an emotion that I think every single person watching has experienced, and that emotion is anger. So let's check out week 2 of our series titled Vibes. Have you ever heard of road rage? If you have your driver's license, maybe you've experienced it personally. You've probably been in the car with someone has raged out while driving. Or maybe you've been in a car with someone and another driver on the road freaked out at you. If you've never experienced road rage, maybe you've encountered hallway rage. Hallway rage would be what happens when someone bumped into you between classes in the hallway. Remember that? The good old days where you went to school in person and bumped into people in the hall? Seems like a lifetime ago. Well, maybe one time it happened and it made you drop your phone, and in turn you went off, at least in your mind you did anyway. Why? Because hallway rage is real. So on the road or in the hallway, we know that kind of rage. Even if you don't yell at someone or act rudely in the lunch line, you probably know the feeling of that kind of rage. But most of us actually don't call it rage or even anger. Maybe you'd say that you're frustrated. Like when your sister shrinks your favorite shirt in the dryer, you aren't like all out crazy mad, you're frustrated. When your stepdad reminds you that you could get grounded for the weekend, you don't go all crazy. You aren't angry, you're frustrated. When that one kid acts like they're superior to basically everyone, you get frustrated enough to hope that one day they faceplant in front of everyone. Why? Because we don't like to think of ourselves as angry people. But let's be honest. Is there a difference between mad and being frustrated? Is there a difference between road rage and road frustration? Last week, we started this series that's all about our emotions or the vibe inside. And I really wish that didn't rhyme because it's super cheesy and sounds ridiculous. But the vibe inside is such an accurate description of our internal emotional environments. And so we've been talking about our emotions, but we've also been talking about keeping those emotions or vibes from controlling us. And one of the emotions that shows up for everyone and tries to take over is the emotion of anger. The thing about anger is it doesn't always look the same. Sometimes it means yelling at someone or losing your temper. That's typically how we think of anger, but sometimes it means giving someone the silent treatment. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes when someone is mad at you and they're not saying a word, it's way worse. In fact, maybe you're really good at giving people the silent treatment. Not only is it a way for you to process your anger, but you think it's also a good way for you to control the situation. You hold the power because you withhold the words. Even more complicated. Not all anger is bad. You see, there's anger we feel when we see injustices, when we see things like certain groups of people being mistreated unfairly, or causes that we care about that aren't being taken seriously. Things like racism, things like people who don't have clean water, people who don't take care of the planet. When we see these things, and when we see them happening in the world around us, it's actually a good thing to get angry. Jesus got super angry when people were mistreated, like flipping furniture kind of angry. So it isn't always bad. In fact, sometimes anger is constructive. It moves us towards positive action. But then other times it's destructive. It moves us toward regret and hurts. And what are we supposed to do with that, especially when it causes regret and hurt with people? Well, we know that anger is powerful, good or bad. And so the question is, what do we do with it, and how do we keep destructive anger from taking over and bossing us around? Well, we're going to look at a passage from the book of James, which is found in the New Testament of the Bible. And what I love about James was he was actually the brother of Jesus. But when Jesus was alive and when Jesus walked the earth, James didn't believe that he was the Son of God. And can you blame him? It wasn't until after Jesus was crucified and came back to life that James was convinced. And so eventually, James becomes a leader in the early church. He lived in a city called Jerusalem, and he wrote this letter primarily to Jewish Christians. It's a letter that's full of wisdom. And in the section we're going to look at, James offers a principle that may sound a little simple at first, but hang in there, because if you and I can learn to do this, I think it'll change everything. James starts off by saying this. He says, "Who is wise and understanding among you?" Well, we hear the word wise a lot, but we may not really focus on what it means. You see, wise is different than smart. You can be born smart, but wisdom is earned. If you're wise, you take what you've experienced in your lifetime and you learn from it. You understand that life is connected and that actions have consequences. And so James is asking, how many of you get that? How many of you understand that? If you do understand it, here's what I have to say next. And he continues. He says, "Let them show it by their good life, by deeds done in the humility," that's a key word, humility, "that comes from wisdom." So James is making a connection here. He's saying that wise people are humble. And what does humility look like? Well, it starts with a proper view of yourself. You don't see yourself as the exception to the rules. You don't think the world revolves around you and your desires. You don't think that you deserve better treatment than the person beside you. You don't see everyone else as a means to an end. James is saying that wise people don't do these things. And then he continues. He says, "But if you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth." And what he means by harbor is basically letting something stick around. If you let stuff stay with you that makes you think you're better or more important, don't deny it. Call it out. Own it. Don't pretend to be fine. And then James says this. He says, "For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder and every evil practice." So let's say that a different way so we can understand it a little better. When pride or arrogance gets lodged inside of us, it comes out in our actions. Not exactly great news, but he doesn't leave us hanging. A couple verses later, he asks a question. He asks, "What causes fights and quarrels among you?" And I bet I could stop right there and everyone would have an answer to that question. Maybe it's parents with what you think are unrealistic rules. Maybe it's younger siblings that won't stop being annoying. Maybe it's friends that don't text back, they leave you on red. Maybe it's a step parent that acts like they're always right. Maybe it's just people with obnoxious TikTok accounts. But we all have an answer outside of us that causes problems inside of us. But James isn't buying it. He answers his own question by saying, don't they come from your desires that battle within you? In other words, your mom may drive you crazy and your little brother may be annoying, but what causes the arguments? It's not them, it's you. Or more specifically, it's what's in you. And this is a big deal because as long as we think the problem is someone else, maybe their behavior, their character, their mistakes, we'll never deal with the anger that's inside of us. We think the problem is people not doing things our way. But James is saying the problem is that we want to get our way. But as long as we think the problem is outside of us, we'll never take care of what's inside of us. And maybe that's hard to hear because maybe you feel like the things you want are things that have to be earned, things like freedom and respect and trust and responsibility. And when you don't get those things, that especially when you feel like you've earned them, it doesn't seem fair. And you're right. But James isn't talking about what's fair and what isn't. He's saying that if you want to get to the root of your frustration and anger, you need to be willing to admit that the problem is you, or at least part of the problem. You see, the problem is when you don't get what you think you deserve. So what do? Well, we have to change the script. When other people aren't acting like we think they should, or when we aren't getting what we want or think we deserve, we have to change what we say. Instead of saying, he's being selfish and she's being annoying and they're being so rude and oh my goodness. Instead, we own the problem and say, you know what the problem is? I'm just not getting what I want. And I understand that doesn't sound amazing, but I'm telling you that when you start doing this, relationships change. Your frustration level changes. Your anger changes. Why? Because you're no longer looking at other people as the reason for why you feel the way you feel. As long as you're looking to other people as the reason for feeling the way you do, other people have control of your emotions. On the other hand, when you start admitting that the problem is that you're not getting what you want, you get control back. And isn't that what we all want when it comes to our emotions? We want control. We want control of them. And so James is making the point that as long as you think the problem is outside of you and that it's somebody else's fault, you'll feel like you get a free pass to act however you want. Why does this happen? Well, because you can say that you didn't do anything wrong. You can avoid the ownership and responsibility. You can look at others and say, they made me do it. They made me act that way. They made me say it. They left me no choice. It's all their fault. But James is saying, no. If you did that thing or said that thing that came out angry, mean, or hurtful, it was because it was in you to say it or do it. Now, there are circumstances that should upset you, like when you're poorly treated or when you're treated unfairly. But imagine if in the middle of feeling your anger and frustration, you were able to say, part of the problem, not the whole problem, but part of the problem is that I'm not getting what I want. Just being willing to say that out loud helps take you from keeping yourself being controlled by anger and frustration to actually being in control of your feelings. Owning that in the moment keeps your anger and frustration from driving you and owning you. And no matter who you are, that's a good thing. Based on what we've talked about today, here's my question for you. What's your relationship like with anger? Do you control it or does it control you? If I were to ask your coach, your mom, your dad, your step-parents, your brother, your sister, your teammates, your classmates, your friends, what would they say? Because if anger is controlling you in any of those relationships, then it's controlling you too much. And the only way to beat it, according to James, is with humility. And humility says, it's not all my fault, but I'm still gonna own part of it. And my part of it has to do with me not getting my way when I want to. So when you feel anger, frustration, or whatever you want to call it, when you feel that rising up, when you're in disagreement with a parent, a step-parent, a coach, a friend, a sibling, you need to ask yourself, what am I not getting that's causing this anger? Because even if you aren't the whole problem, humility means recognizing that you're part of the problem. And when you learn how to recognize that, the emotion of anger begins to lessen its control over you. The good news is that for those of us who are Jesus followers, we follow someone who has led the way with this. Jesus said no to getting his way. In fact, the Apostle Paul wrote about this very thing when he talked about Jesus. This is what Paul said. He said, who, being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness. Jesus had every reason and every right to get his own way, but he didn't. He gave up what he wanted so that we could know how valuable we are in God's sight. You see, Paul, he starts this passage about Jesus and his humility by saying this. He says, therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded. I want you to remember that, by being like-minded, having the same love. So did you catch that? He tells us to be like Christ, and then he tells us what Christ is like. He's humble when he had every reason not to be. Jesus surrendered his way when he could have easily fought for it. And following the example of Jesus is how we keep anger from controlling us. I want you to think about it this way. Because of Jesus, anger doesn't have to be the boss of you. I really believe that following Jesus will make your life better. I really, really do. Because when you follow him, he'll nudge you away from self-centeredness, arrogance, and pride and move you toward humility and love for others. And as that happens, you'll find that anger no longer has the hold on you that it did before. And the less powerful anger is, it's just a win for everyone. And so as we wrap up, I want you to begin imagining what life would look like if anger didn't control you. None of us will get this right completely or all the time or even the first time. But as you discuss this with your Connect group this week, process some ways that you can take some next steps in the right direction. And so in your personal circumstances, what would it look like for you to choose wisdom and humility over anger? Remember, because of Jesus, anger doesn't have to be the boss of you.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're doing another cooking thing. We're going to be making some good cereal. Okay? We are having... I can read that. Now, first thing you want to do when you're making cereal, get a pot and get some water. Okay? Fill it up till it overflows. Okay? You want it to be overflowed. Okay? You want it to be bubbling. Then, what would you do next? Put it on the stove. Okay? All the way high. It's on 9. Then, boom! You put... I'm using some cashew, Go Lean, toasted cinnamon crisp cereal. But yes, then we're just gonna dump it in and have a good time. Okay? Oh. It's going in. It's going in, guys. Oh, the bag's backwards. Oops.
And if you didn't know this, we are now, as of right now, we are certified professional chefs.
Yeah.
We can make, what do we make again? Juice. Yeah,
Guys, we got it. We put all the stuff in. Now, we're gonna do one of the greatest things. You don't want to just have all that. You want to have some Turtle's hot chocolate in it. So that when you eat it, it doesn't just taste like water. Because that's terrible. Am I right?
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's why we're certified chefs. Okay,
Yeah.
and as you can see, It's all turning brown. And then, here's what you want to do. You want to flip it after you get all in there. Gotta clean that phone off. Got dirty.
That sounds good.
Do you want to try this? Okay, I think I lit the bag of cereal on fire.
You did?
Yeah, it said to melt. Other than that, guys, this is one of the healthiest things you can eat on a Wednesday evening.
That's correct.
Or any other evening. As you can see, it looks like I vomited in here. This is the look you want. You want it to be all good and juicy. You lift it up, you see it?
What?
You lift it up and then you see all these good things. It's great. Then you're going to add a bit of salt.
Salt?
Okay. Salt. Yeah. See, you want to use your salt. It says S on it right here for salt. See? Just dump it all in. You see? Now that we got the salt, it's going to taste even better. This is looking good, guys. Salt and sugar, they're both white. Same thing.
They say don't judge a book by its cover. That's why you don't judge this. You never know, it might be good. We will find out.
See, then you taste test. Get a little bit on the spoon. See if it's hot enough. It's not hot enough yet. So you want to keep going. Stir it out. See, a little bit of bubbles. It means it's starting to boil. You can see, it's like sweet, salty chocolates. Now, this is a good thing. It's all getting whipped around like a whirlpool. And, let's see. It is now good to go. We are going to taste test it here for you. You've seen it first here. Channel Lake Point News. See? Yeah. Got me some. Tastes amazing. You can taste the Turtle's hot chocolate. Now, you try it.